Hi there, and welcome to the Leisure Lectures. Today we are digging deep into early history of man and material, literally spoken as the focus is on objects of archaeology. Take a look at my selection of so-called artifacts or man-made objects, which is the original meaning of the Latin word, made from materials that have endured to the present day. History needs physical evidence, as only objects can tell a true story. So let's start with the makers of objects. Evolution took its time. Over 4 million years ago, the party started as one of the earliest human traits developed, the ability to walk on two legs. Here's some of our early ancestors on the long way to modern man. Homo erectus, meaning the upright one, who emerged 1.9 million years ago, a tall species with long legs who became terrestrial and used fire for the first time. Or the intelligent Neanderthals, who lived for 200,000 years in Eurasia and went extinct long ago. No one knows exactly why. Not just stones, but part of an Oldowan toolkit, named after the site in Tanzania where they were first found. The oldest examples dating 2.6 million years ago. Recently in Kenya, even older ones have been discovered. They were made from simple river-worn pebbles and became the basics of the growing stone industry. This technique is named percussion flaking, quite fitting. It looks primitive, but it is a complex task to use the right force and angle. Tool makers chipped up to 30 flakes from one core. The blades were used like knives, for example to butcher carcasses or get to the bone marrow, adding energy to the plant diet. On the long term, stone tools initiated changes in the brain, behavior and communication. Meet the Flintstones. The hand axe or biface was the dominating product throughout the occupied world of the Stone Age, unchanged for more than 1 million years. The proportions of bifaces conform often to the golden ratio. Obviously, our ancestors had a natural sense of beauty. The production improved. Heat was added to the process. See the battering marks and sharp edges, quite difficult to manufacture. There must have been a common plan in the heads of the designers worldwide. Knowledge passed along by imitating and learning. For the hunter-gatherer, a reindeer represented not only food, but a treasure box of materials. Antler, bones and sinews for tools, fur and skin for clothing. The animal served many purposes. Nothing would be left behind. Everything was useful. The little lion head is one of the earliest evidence of art worldwide, once part of a bigger figure. For the people of the Ice Age, the cave lion was a real threat, but also admired. Striking are several X-shaped notches. This type of pattern is known from other figures worldwide. The message remains a mystery. It was carved by the modern Homo sapiens, who has been around in Europe for the past 120,000 years. This is one of the oldest statuettes from the Ice Age, only 38 millimeters tall, maybe some kind of amulet. It shows a worshipper with raised arms, a human-animal hybrid. Such dual characters are also known from French cave paintings. Around the plate and on the back are geometrically ordered marks. Maybe mere ornament, maybe a counting system, or even a lunar calendar. Who knows? One of the oldest stencils in the world. This hand from Indonesia was made by blowing or spitting paint onto the wall. Kids still like to do it. Hands like this are seen in archaeological sites worldwide. The origins of art began more than 75,000 years ago, presented through perforated shell beads and the use of pigments, as well as body decoration. Again, the cave lion is depicted, this time in a quite modern illustration style, painted on the walls of Chauvet Cave in France. It has long been assumed that abstract thinking emerged in Europe shortly after modern humans arrived there, about 40,000 years ago. Creating visual art is one of the defining characteristics of human beings. The cave dwellers from Lascaux used this lamp, a superb piece of craftsmanship. The handle is decorated with glyphs, such as are painted or engraved in various parts of the cave. The perfect shape and the choice of the sandstone looks like the work of a master, some kind of early industrial design, as many others of this model were found in the cave. Here you see the burnt deposits in the bowl, powdered remnants of a wick, and deer fat. With 500 grams of fat you could keep a lamp lit for 24 hours. Anonymous created this imaginative sculpture. The so-called Venus of Willendorf is probably the most famous of all the European Venus figurines. The purpose is unknown. There are a lot of speculations if sex goddess or self-depiction. The woman with no feet and without a face shows a detailed hairdo and distinctive curves. It is one of the earliest figurative icons that still appeals today. Some of the oldest known pottery dates back to the Japanese Yamon culture. The name is derived from the decorative cord marks or rope patterns. Women made these vessels, by the way without a wheel, which was invented much later in Crete. Additionally, tools were employed to smooth the outer and interior surfaces. Late glacial hunters made and used these harpoons, mainly to catch fish and water animals. The projectiles were put on a wooden shaft, but not firmly fixed, so if the head hit the target, it detached itself, while still being connected through a rope, a fatal long-range weapon. This clay tablet from Mesopotamia documents grain, which was distributed by a large temple. The earliest examples of these tablets were records of accountancy. The writing is called cuneiform, which means wedge-shaped, no alphabet but standardized symbols. Later on, the application was expanded, including poetry. Writing is a relatively late invention of mankind. Once created for a high-born woman, this reconstructed necklace is part of a burial set, only to wear in the afterworld. What a pity. It is exquisitely made from limestone and looks quite modern. The 3-row chain consists of more than 500 stone and jet beads. The mix of dark and light was a special trademark of the Schussenried culture group. This sculpture is one of the earliest known representations of a musician. He draws his lips as he sings and listens with large ears. His right thumb is raised. The muscles, his elbow joints and fingers are modeled with great artistry. Remarkably as well is the design of the chair, equipped with an elaborate backrest. Around 4000 BC, the knowledge of copper metallurgy spread to the cultural groups of southwest Germany, coming from Eastern Europe, and marking the end of the Stone Age. This dagger illustrates not only the processing of metal, as the copper is enriched with arsenic, but an already existing distribution system which specialized in copper from alpine ore deposits. Note, the blade had probably a wooden handle fixed on rivet joints. Gold, lapis lazuli, and carnelian form an outstanding chaplet, which adorned the forehead of one of the female attendants in the so-called king's grave in the city of Ur, present-day Iraq. Excavations of the royal tombs reveal the wealth of the Sumerians and the remarkable skills of their goldsmiths. As gold is malleable and easy to shape, the metal was used quite early, especially for jewelry. Inlays like this were used to decorate pieces of sculptures, furniture, or jewelry. Glassmaking started in Mesopotamia around 3000 BC and improved in ancient Egypt. It had a peak during the Roman Empire, when also the first transparent glass came to use. Anyway, glass remained a luxury for ages. So here our journey ends. I hope you did enjoy the time travel. See you, and if you won't wait that long, visit my blog Design is Fine and enjoy the flow.